Now we can do it. And here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite podcast. You know what it's called. Riffin with Riffin, yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Riffin with Riffin. And today's guest, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, one of my best friends, one of the funniest comics in the world, Mr. Ian Edwards.
What's up, y'all? Never met him before in my life.
Ian Edwards. Do you want to get on the singing mic?
Ian Edwards. We're Riffin with Riffin, sitting in this chair, sitting down, talking, kicking it everywhere. We got old school guys are gonna hand it back because this shit don't sound nothing good, Jack. Here you go.
Yeah! I thought you was a flower. Hold on a second. Cause we're Riffin with Griffin. Woo, woo, woo. All right, we did it.
Yeah, we did.
You can take the headphones off if you want, or we can keep them on. What do you want to do?
We'll see.
We'll see how he's feeling.
We'll
see how it feels. All right, so here we go with Mr. Ian Edwards. I know your big thing you got coming on is you got the special coming out.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be on Comedy Central, right?
Uh-huh.
What's the name of it?
It's called Ian Talk.
It's called Ian Talk. Better than the TED Talk because it's more real.
Mm-hmm. Real TED Talk. Ideas not worthless. Spreading.
Look at that. And that's how we do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've known you a long ass time. Like we've known each other since like actually I remember the first time I met you.
For real?
Yeah, we was doing remember Meta and I, we had that show out in Temptations.
That was the first time you met me?
Yeah, that was the first time we actually like interacted with each other.
Uh-huh.
It was that was so long ago.
Yeah.
He was a master at like getting places to like give comics money that that didn't deserve that amount.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because that thing, like I got like 1,000 just to drive to Orange County.
It was the first. That was like in the
shit.
first couple of months of that, where people were getting $1,000.
Like, these people getting ripped off, but I'm not gonna tell them. I'll take the 1,000.
I know. I just did that in Saudi Arabia.
I know. I miss robbing those people with me.
I know we were supposed to go. That just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So I remember I saw you back then.
Mm-hmm.
You had that, and then you like that at that time too. That was when the shark joke was at it with like everybody was talking about that.
Right.
Yeah, and so then after that, I don't know when we just really started just hanging out.
Because I think you started coming to the store.
Yeah, that was like 2005-ish, 2006.
And then you used to sit in the back and complain. I'm like, what's wrong with this guy?
You mean finally a kindred spirit? That's what you really mean.
I mean, I feel like I have more quality complaints.
Oh my God!
No, but
you gonna blast me on my own show?
Yeah. Of course I'm gonna do. But I think you were complaining back then out of more insecurity, and then like it took like a year or so for you to become more secure and more cemented as a comic, and then like you'd blow me away, and I'd be like, oh shit, man, this motherfucker's good.
Hey, I appreciate it.
I was like, all right, I gotta talk to him. I don't want to.
I know.
I think it's funny.
I think that's do you think that that's a product of like the environment at the Comedy Store?
Maybe. I mean, did you feel like you made a turn at some point?
Yes, for sure.
Why did you make that turn, and how?
Well, I feel like just like the struggle at the Comedy Store, you're trying to get spots. You're constantly looking at the lineup. You're wondering how to get into that prime spot.
I don't even do all that.
But at the time, I didn't know at the time. Then
Right.
it just got to a point where I was like, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Right.
And it was like, forget. I don't need this place.
Right.
And as soon as that turn happened, because I was doing other things,
Right.
and then that's when it just opened up at the Comedy Store.
I know some people at the store were like, oh, he has sound effects and stuff like that. And I'm like, what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? I was like, I wish I could. That's an
skill
ability,
set.
a skill set. And then people who call themselves like cerebral comics would like shit on that. And then like if you did anything animated, they just say you weren't a comic, or you're up to some witchcraft or trickery.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Richard Pryor did voices, characters. He could do so many things. He could make it sound like he's stepping on a twig on the floor. So I'm not gonna like see you have like similar abilities and like shit on you. So I was like, hey guys, you go back and forth with some guys and they say that, and they're like, "How is that even a point?"
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's a weird thing. It's like I had to like not worry about that kind of stuff because Doc used to tell me how people would talk shit about me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Throw him under the bus, but he'd be like, I would drive up in the parking lot. He'd be like, "Yo, man, they don't respect you. They over here shitting on you." So he would tell me about everybody, even people that I consider my friends.
Right.
Like
he told you what when I said?
Yeah, everybody. Cool. He would be like, yeah, whoever it was. But it was like, but I never really worried about it because I always thought the way you thought about it. I was just like, this is just how I am. If I'm gonna let people try to change me, because I'm not gonna be a comic like that, because I appreciate, like, for instance, you are a very cerebral comic. You low key. You have a certain type of energy that's like low high energy. It's a weird thing.
It's very sexual.
Oh, brother.
What? It's ladies listening, bro.
Are there ladies listening?
I don't know. I was hoping.
Maybe there's ladies listening now.
Sorry, guys.
You're so stupid.
Thank you.
And then, like, you got the, so you have that. So when I saw what you do, I was like, well, I can't do what he does. I'm not going to try to do that.
I wish I could do more. And I think as time goes on, like, I'm developing into more. So it's not just cerebral. Like, like I find in my places where I can be animated or looser.
That's always funny to me too when I watch you. I was like, look at Ian doing act outs.
Yeah.
But your act outs will always be like real.
Yeah. Like, in my head, it's a huge act out. To the audience, like, man, he moved.
Yeah, in your head, you're doing a backflip.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everybody else is like, he just moved from one spot to the other. But
triple somersault in my head. Yeah.
But I do think that like the Comedy Store feeds the beast, of insecurities and all those things. And if you could fight past all those things, and then if you get across to the other side, then you're just who you are. You know what I mean? So I mean, like when Mitzi was alive, right? Wasn't the whole idea to prove to her that what you did was good or whatever? Now it's like the ghost of her is in all the comics.
Well, when I got there, it was like, I was getting spots after midnight. So my goal was to perform so good at after midnight that I'll just keep on sliding down the lineup to get better spots. But then you get down.
Mean up the lineup.
I mean, well, because say. Yeah. I guess the later times are down.
Yeah.
So it's like midnight and after is down, and so it's what 9:30.
Yeah. It starts at 9. So the good spot is the first good spot is 9:30.
Right.
And the last good spot is probably 11:30.
11:30. So I get like after 11:30 and shit, and so I try to work my way and like jam in some 10s and some 10:30s and like some 11s, and do that. And I did do that. Then the club got popular, and then a lot of, like, Tommy left, the old booker, and then they brought in back a bunch of comics that have a lot of clout and who are funny, and so then you go back down.
Yeah, man.
But my goal was always never to waste the spot. Like, work on some material and get better. It's like, it might be the only thing I have to do that day as a comic if I'm not writing on the show.
Right.
So it's like, you got to make use of that spot. I remember cursing out this one comic, and Sean Halpin, because he had a spot before me. And he went up, and he's like, yeah, you guys are dead. And blah, blah, do a joke. Would kind of half work because he kind of half did it. And he's like, yeah, this show is over. You've been here a long time. You're beat up. And he keep on repeating that mantra until he got off stage.
Till the crowd was like, he's right.
He's right. So then when we got off stage, I said, hey, man, I'm next. And you just told the crowd that they're done. And then after me, there's 4 or 5 other comics. You can't do that shit.
Yeah.
If you are going to mail it in, then you just mail it in or don't go on. But, hey, man, there's other comics got to go on after you. Now you've just convinced them that the night is over.
Yeah.
So I was going up there to do work, and I did put in work, and they did laugh. You know what I mean?
You know what I find?
And he did like say you're right.
I do find that the comedy I've done
that too, to be honest.
Yeah, I've had like a bad I one day I just was crazy. It was like a Friday night, and I just like lost my mind on stage, was yelling at some girl, and we were just going back at it. Mm-hmm. And then I remember Steve Trevino was on after me, and it just turned into a whole thing. Bobby called me. He was like, "You can't do that on a Friday." Yeah. You know what I mean? And then Steve was mad at me, and I was like, fuck. Okay. Then I was like, all right. But I find at the Comedy Store now, what's hard is the fact that like it's now a show. It's not a workout room anymore. I still do it. I still work out.
Yeah.
I know, like, the people that have been there like a number of years, but it's like there is this little bit of like, sometimes you come in there, it's like, God damn, it's Tuesday. Why is this place packed?
Yeah.
Looking for a show. I'm trying to work some shit out.
Right. I mean, it did frustrate me a little bit, but then I started like, hey, I'm not doing bars. So this is my rough spot for the week. This is the bar.
Yeah.
And it'll help me keep my edge. So try the new shit and take the L's when they come, because you're going to go home, you're going to listen to the set, you're going to figure out what went wrong, what went right, and you're going to fix it and enhance the parts that went right. And don't take the sets personal. It's a small part of a bigger picture.
You tape every set?
Yeah, especially since the special. Before I used to tape them and not listen to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've done that. I got a bunch of sets.
Yeah, the special make you work, right?
Yeah, the special makes you work.
I did the same thing.
Because you're like, you used everything.
Yeah.
And now it's going to air, people are going to come see you, and you don't want to be, they're like, I thought that guy was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I headlined in Atlanta at Laughing Skull like 2-3 weeks ago, and I did the best mediocre set that I could, because I only had like 20 minutes of new material, used some old material, and then tried some brand new material.
Right.
I'm just trying to get my weight back up. But yeah, soon it's feeling better now. I'm getting this new material. It's just a process you go through when you're getting new material together.
I know. That's the hardest thing, but it just feels good. I actually like that process, like the working through it, you know? You have this idea, and then like the first time you kind of like test it out on stage, and if it does well, you're kind of like, oh, I'm on to something right here.
Yeah,
and then,
I like being on to something.
Yeah. But what I wasn't doing before was like what you do is like putting in the work, you know? It's something that I've noticed, like, because you remember I was doing the same thing, because I couldn't even go out of town to do my special. I had to do like, Ontario Brea, the Belly Room, and I was like really working, and I was like, oh, I really got the best out of myself.
Right, yeah.
But I see like you do it regularly, like Neil Brennan and people like that. They're always got their little notebooks, and they're always doing their thing. And recently I've been like, why am I not doing that? Right. Just relying so much on just being a funny guy.
Instead of punching us in the face when you see us with our notebooks in the hallway. Jesus, Eric.
But see, I have the same dumb attitude how somebody would have about me doing sound effects or something. I'll be like, look at y'all with your notebooks.
I just look weird because I don't use a notebook. I got my old cell phone that's not connected anymore. I just use it as a remote control, as a recorder.
Oh, really?
And then I have my new phone with the notes written on the phone, because I'm no animal. Crazy. I don't waste. So you put 2 phones down on the stool.
Yeah, you look like you got a whole phone.
Yeah. They're like, what's this nigga doing with 2 phones? One of them ain't even on.
They don't know that.
Yeah, they don't know that. He's like, this nigga got 2 phones. Or if there's a phone on the thing and then one is in my pocket, some people think it's my dick. Because they're like, we know that's not his phone. Because his phone, he just put it on the stool.
Oh, right.
So what's that in his pants?
Yeah, what's that square dick he got?
This nigga got a...
Well, one of my favorite things about you is how how old school you are. Like,
what? I'm young, bro.
Yeah. I'm not saying you old. I didn't say you was old. I said you was. Nobody actually knows how old Ian is. I think we all want to. I think the trick is we all want to like get together and like say, Ian, we sending you on a trip, but we got to buy the ticket so we can get your ID.
Oh, don't worry, I got something for that. It's been tried before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's ways around everything, bro.
No, but you also like Ian don't want to like he don't want to do online banking. He don't want to use apps.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Why is that?
Because people are getting got.
Here we go. Who's getting got?
People are getting got. Oh, governments, cities are being held ransom. Like even what's city or I think Baltimore got hacked.
Oh, and the whole city of Baltimore got hacked.
Yeah, like and then they held them ransom. Some hospitals, medical records. The less.
You just want to be off the grid.
No, I don't want to be off the grid because you need the grid, but like a good precaution. If there's less access for somebody to get at you, then to me that's the ultimate protection.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that. Wait, I got to turn this fan off because it's making my brick wall move.
Oh, wait. What type of brick is this?
We're still on. I'm going to keep this in.
It's moving brick, y'all. So now everybody knows this brick is not real brick.
They are. Oh, I got my new tree.
Yeah, I know. You got the...
Yeah, I'm experimenting like hell today. I got the tree right here. I turned the fan on because sometimes it gets hot, so I had to turn it off because I didn't want my brick wall looking like it was like people are gonna be like, is the wall moving?
Or am I high?
Yeah.
Edibles did I take to watch this?
Yeah, how many edibles did I take? So I know you.
As we sit between one fern.
So I know you're originally from New York, or were you born in Jamaica, or I
was born in England, and then lived there till I was like, look at the way you're looking at me. You didn't know this?
I didn't know this.
You knew this.
No, I didn't know. This is why I like having a podcast. I'm like, Ian is literally like, I say people are my best friend. Ian is literally one of my best friends, like in the tops. You know what I mean? And I didn't know you was born in England.
Never listened.
This explains so much why you such a bougie nigga. You from the old country. I get it now.
It's hilarious. So yeah, I was born in England, lived there till I was like 9, and then we moved to Jamaica.
Till 9?
Yeah.
Was your dad in the military or something?
No, he's just a Jamaican guy, just trying to find some work.
So he was in
country
England
that colonized his country.
That's what wait. Was he already married when he got to, or did he meet your mom in London?
I don't know. Our parents don't tell us that type of shit.
Oh, that's true. Fuck.
Yeah,
because I'm surprised you don't have a white mom.
Nah, not this time.
Jamaican dude in London, that's like fresh pickings.
Nah, he got a Jamaican one.
Yeah. So you're 9 years old, and you moved to
Jamaica. Yeah.
Oh, you went from England to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
To go home for them. They went
to
home.
get rid of all the bouginess.
They was like, he too entitled. We need to take him to the home country.
Yeah.
So how long did you live in Jamaica?
Till I was like 17.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know in Jamaica that you wanted to be a comic?
Nah, no idea.
Mm.
I didn't know. I just wanted to graduate to America and have a chance.
How was it like going to high school in Jamaica?
It was fun, but like you could tell that there was limits to living in the island. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like I didn't even know what I wanted to do, but like jobs were scarce, especially if you wanted to like elevate to a certain level financially.
You just felt like there was a cap.
It was a cap, yeah. Because sometimes there's corruption and shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, shit, I aspired, we was so broke in Jamaica, I aspired to live in the projects in America.
That was, you wanted to upgrade to the New York projects?
Yeah, nigga, got an elevator that don't work. This is nice. It's beautiful.
So you're 7.
Bunch of rich niggas around here.
Not even knowing that this is like, yeah.
There's opportunity. Anytime there's opportunity and there's potential,
right? It's
better.
Did your whole family move to New York, or was it just?
Yeah, the whole family.
Oh, the whole family. It was like, okay, so London, Jamaica. Mm-hmm. What a stopover.
Yeah,
that's a major like third world stopover.
Yeah, but it was fun, man. It was a great growing up there. Learned a lot of things. It helped make me who I am. You know what I mean? Like it just taught me so many great lessons and like
what? Give me an example of a lesson you learned from Jamaica.
I think so you know how long I've been doing stand-up, right? And I think
at least 42 years.
Yeah, at least 7. So some comics, if they're not like more famous than I am right now, I'm just saying more famous than I am right now, or have accomplished more, right? They'd be really frustrated. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
To the point that because some people it's tough for them to not look at what other people have and when they started
and compare.
You know, to me, it's like, you know, this is good. I've been happy either way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's been times when I've had way less and didn't even expect this much. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm fine.
And it's weird because this is the kind of business that you're always around someone who either has a lot or you're around people that like have is just what you have, and then all of a sudden they have, you're like, pow, and then you look at that and you go, what am I not doing? And you can't be like that in this business.
You can't be like that, because
it'll drive you crazy.
It'll drive you crazy, and it'll ruin the good time that you should be having
on the climb.
On the climb. So I've always enjoyed the journey. You know, I don't know what told me to tell myself that, like, enjoy the journey. It's like, what are you gonna do? Have fun when you make it, might be so much time you missed.
Yeah.
So I just enjoyed all the time. All the times we go to the diner and kick it and talk and laugh. Those are and going there to intentionally have fun and break bread with friends and shit. And if I walk out that diner, get hit by a car, I was laughing right before that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. That's great. I like that mentality. I mean, it's like, why not have fun while we're doing this?
Yeah.
I mean, if I look back on some of the good times I've had in comedy, it really is just hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, like when we go out to eat with Gerard or like, hanging out at
Chris
101.
D'Elia.
Yeah, Chris and
all
the
the different groups of different
Yeah.
people, even with Lanochi and Fahim and just.
Well, what I like about our core group of those type of guys is that, like,
Bobby.
for instance, like, because like Bobby and Chris and like they're not different. Like, I've seen Chris go from, like, when he was just doing belly room spots and going to the
Right.
to like the ginormous comic that he is,
Right.
and I don't see that much of a difference in his personality.
No, he's actually gotten even better. Not that he was bad before, but he's just really generous and shit.
Yeah. So I like that. But and then we're seeing this happen to other people. Like, look at like Theo.
Yeah, Theo.
Like Theo's like he's on like a real roller coaster uphill. But it's good to see like that. Not everybody stays grounded though.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna be. Come on, this is the last time you're gonna get me on here, bro.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. We talking to Ian Billboard Edwards right here, everybody.
Yeah,
he got a bunch. How many billboards around LA?
Listen, Eric, there's only 43. All right. It's not
a
like
monster. They've created a fucking monster.
If it was 44, then maybe you'd have to talk to my people to get me on here. It's one short of my.
Yeah, somebody's big when they have when I have to go through their assistant or their publicist to come on my podcast.
Yeah, and it's not them pretending to be their assistant.
Yeah, I had Rami on it. I didn't even talk to him till the day he showed up.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah, this motherfucker. I told him on the podcast. I said, "Yo, dude, what's up with? You can't text me yourself."
It's hilarious.
But that's like, I know. So we enjoying the journey. So I guess that's a good Jamaican lesson, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, coming from nothing and then like realizing that enjoy every.
I told you I aspired to live in like when I was growing up in Jamaica, I had like 2 pairs of shoes.
Damn.
So when I saw American black people, even though they have a right to complain and have gripes, like it took me a while to understand, like, oh, you got like a pair of shoes for every day. Like, you made it. Your feet made it at least.
Yeah, these ain't. I got Monday through Wednesday.
I got school shoes and some shoes to wear at church. That's it.
Damn.
Yeah. And don't get caught in your church shoes in the middle of the week, nigga.
Your mom will get mad.
Yeah.
So so now you're 17 in New York, and then did you? So you hadn't graduated high school yet, or did you graduate?
I did graduate because school is different in Jamaica.
Yeah.
You graduate, and then there's these other tests that you can stay in school for. You can go to college, or you can take the A levels and then go to university. So
did you plan to go to college? Is that what you wanted to do?
Nah, by the time everything worked out, I finished high school and then stayed for 1 year of the A level studies. But I knew in Jamaica, and my older brother, my older sister, and my father came here with my mother.
Oh.
And they got shit together for a year, and they got a house in Long Island. And then me and my sister came out a year later and moved in with them into the house.
Oh, gotcha.
So instead of all of us being in my mom's 1-bedroom apartment in Queens, in Jamaica. So they did that.
And then when you got here,
it was cold.
Yeah, I'm sure that was different.
It might not even been that cold. I'm just so used to it being like Jamaican winter is 90. So Jesus.
Jacket weather was like 85. I was like, we gotta get a coat. It's hot cold out here. Yeah. So when did so you didn't go to school when you came? What
I went to high school.
So you had to because it wasn't equivalent, right?
Yeah, it's actually more than equivalent. Jamaicans like high school is like harder than Americans.
Right. But especially in certain areas.
Yeah, but because they feel like you come from an island and it's not like we're like using like the English in Jamaica. We're using like the English standards because it's standard of teaching and learning because we're a former colony.
Right. Just like Belize.
Yeah.
My family.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, my family's from Belize. Like I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's why I have family from Jamaica. It's like they're cousins. They got that same, Ian.
Stupid. What did I tell you about that?
Curry good.
Oh, Jesus. He knows I
That's
hate
my
this.
Jamaican.
He knows I
Welcome
hate
to the podcast, Ian Edwards. So you all right. So when did you want to
then when I came here, I thought I was smart.
Oh,
I
right.
was genius. I like
well, especially in high school when you was like, I already did this.
I was killing them in high school.
And you were already older.
Yeah, you're stupid. No, I wasn't. I mean, I guess I graduated.
Because they
like
made you
18 and a
did
half.
they make you do your senior year again?
Like I came in the middle, so I did do the senior year, but yeah.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. When was comedy the thing?
Like early 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, like early 20s. I wasn't thinking about comedy. I was like, I just wanted to get a job where you could make, like my one next door neighbor, their father was making like $50,000 a year. I heard. I need to get it.
Oh, you was like, I got
I was like,
50,000.
man, look at this nice house.
Yeah.
Good neighbor. So that's what you got to make to be clear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what you got to make to be clear. He's got 2 kids, nice backyard. You know,
He was like, this
decent.
is it.
So you just got to do. And then
You stand in front of that house like, this is a palace.
yeah, I was like looking at people's like, oh, that guy's a mailman. He got medical benefits, maybe job on the railroad, or just fine. Go to college, figure out a job. I was going to be like this is dumb. I was watching General Hospital TV
you can
show.
admit it.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. And there was a guy on there. He was a physical therapist, and he was sleeping with all the women in town, and it looked like he had it made financially. So I was like, I want to be that.
You look at that General Hospital,
Yeah.
and you like, oh, I need to go into physical therapy.
Because it feels, all right, so you're learning something. You're almost a doctor, so it's almost, it's
Probably not gonna be as hard. I don't gotta go to school as long.
Yeah, school is long, and people are always gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's gonna be a supply of injured people.
But the funny thing is, the underline of this whole thing was still, and he get a lot of pussy.
And that too. And then, yeah.
Shit. So then you're like still floundering around, obviously, because I remember my early 20s just trying to figure out, what do I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I even tried comedy and I was like,
In your early 20s?
yeah, I'm from LA, but I was like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know where to go, I had too many bad experiences. So I didn't really do comedy till I was 30,
Right.
But like you're in New York, but it gets probably easier. Not that it's easier. There's just more opportunity to do stand up in New York.
Well, I think there kind of was back then. This is before. Now, young comics, I feel bad for them. They're already broke. And I remember being broke and putting gas in the car to get to mics and pay tolls and all that stuff just to
oh,
perform
shit.
for
That's
free,
right. Damn.
And we used to
Yeah.
drive, but me a bunch of comics. Sometimes there was one comic, he had some money. He was like an architect, but he was our age. He had his shit financially. He had his own apartment in Queens.
Oh,
and shit.
that's the
He
dream.
had a Taurus, Ford Taurus. And we used to jump in John's car and drive to gigs, and he used to pay the toll and be in the back. And he just never asked us for money, so that helped us.
Oh, shit.
And
What
so
was your club in? What was like your go to when you first started?
Governors was the first one, but they only had an open mic either once or twice a week. So then you have to go. Then they had a club in like Yonkers. So you got to pay toll for that shit. You know what I'm saying? You have to buy gas, pay a toll for that shit. And there was one in Queens. There's like Jimmy's Comedy Alley, and we would just all meet up at somewhere. There was Chuckles. So Chuckles was local too. Yeah.
Now, were you doing black rooms back then?
Nah, I started out in like white rooms.
Oh.
Yeah, those were the ones that were there. And then some black rooms came up and I started doing it. So I had to learn comedy all over again.
Yeah, I could tell.
Because you have a different pacing and style. Like white comedy is different. And then you have to do like, oh, these jokes don't work in a black room based on the way they're booing me. So
were you getting booed? Did you get booed?
Yeah.
Black rooms are like.
Yeah, it's like they're like, we don't take that observational shit. It's got to be relatable. And then the thing that was also kind of like I had to figure out about black rooms. Like when I hung out with black comics, and they would say stuff to the audience. The audience like, yeah, we remember that. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even grow up here. So they have a wealth
right
of growing up American Black, and they can relate to this audience. And I'm like, I'm just learning Black American culture.
Right.
So I'm like, not only now I got to figure out Black American culture so I can relate to people, or figure out a way. Sometimes you try to fake it. It's just so many different what you do. So do this thing wrong so many ways until you figure out the right way to do it.
Did you have an accent at the time?
Yeah, and then I came up with talking about being Jamaican.
Right.
So then that helped.
Yeah,
and that would kill in the black rooms.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I have something I noticed, like having family from, Belize, Jamaica, and when they would come to the United States, there was like a little bit of a rift between people from those places and Black Americans.
Yeah,
because it wasn't the same experience. Like we didn't hate white people in the same way that Black Americans did. Did your family have that kind of thing going on?
No, I don't. We didn't. It was more like,
I don't mean that everybody hates white people.
Right.
I'm just saying, this kind of, it was a different struggle, and so they didn't always feel the same way about it.
Well, I think when like Jamaican people, like, how do I put this? Like, I tell other people, like, we used to get into fights with the Yankees. That's what we used to call American Black New Yorkers. Because we're a small group from a different place, and we land in their place, and like, it's like, I wouldn't even say the term bullying, but it's like,
you was a bully.
we're gonna fuck with these guys.
Yeah.
But then Jamaican people are like some of the boldest, brashest motherfuckers, and like, oh yeah, bring it all 10,000 of you, bring it. And then they're like, Ian, Sean, blah, 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 blah. These 10,000 fools want to fight us. I'm like, they're not fools. we
sound like the fools.
Yeah. I don't know where you learned math, but yeah.
But I always felt like, I think that people from Belize and Jamaica felt differently about their culture because they were allowed to have a culture. I mean, these are both slave ports.
Right.
Both slave ports that got their independence, and then a culture was formed. Right. And then people in the United States, African Americans, Black Americans, whatever the term we're using this decade, they feel like robbed of their original culture. So I just think that was part of the rift.
Yeah, there definitely was a rift, but I don't know if because we were different than them, and people always with differences always don't trust the people who come in after, and it could be the cultural thing like you were saying. There was definitely like, and then there were moments when we did get along, but then if there was a reason for beef, then they would just take it.
All of a sudden you become Jamaican Ian.
Jamaican banana boat, all that shit. And they have their slurs for us to like put us down, and then, and then we just, what do you say, Yankee boy?
Yeah. So that's interesting that like that trying to come up in the Black comedy world, being like, oh, I don't know the Black references, the American Black references. So you had to have your own thing. So you're doing the Jamaican thing, and then.
But it would work for the Black, because then, by then, New York had been infiltrated by a lot of Jamaicans.
Yeah, there's like
so then everybody kind of grew up with some and knew and been to reggae clubs, had Jamaican food. So then, instead of trying to be American, the more Jamaican I was on stage, that helped me. But then that wouldn't necessarily transfer to a white club.
Right.
So then I have to kind of figure out something. Now, what do I do for everybody? So it's just a lot of back and forth and trials and figuring stuff out, and then becoming more American at the time and figuring out a way. So that's why I don't have any Jamaican jokes, because then it became limiting, because if I went out of New York, I went to some places, even when there were Black people there, like in Philly, they didn't have any Jamaicans the time I did that show and opened up with those Jamaican jokes in Philly. They just booed me off the stage. Yeah.
So you got a lot of booing going on in early Ian Edwards days.
This is why.
Before Billboard Edwards.
Before Ian Billboard Edwards.
43 of them, everybody. 43.
43, baby. 43 billboards around LA. Check them out. But yeah, I earned those billboards. Yeah. Wait a minute, it should be more. Anyway, listen. like that's why sometimes like the other day I put a sketch up on my Instagram, and then it was about the Ruiz fight when he beat Anthony Joshua. Like Ruiz is in my post I clowned Ruiz, but I gave him his props in the caption. Another like Instagram posted it and reposted it with their own caption, and then somebody's like shitting on me like, this guy's not funny, blah 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 blah. You think that? And it's like, hey, like the people who come at me on Instagram or any of us, you think your one lines or two lines of insults is gonna stop me from thinking I'm funny?
Right.
It's like you're wasting your time. Like, listen, I didn't listen to 1,000 people booing me when I wasn't funny. So you think
For real.
now that there's proof that I'm funny, that you're gonna like say a message or a comment in the comment section and stop me? It's not. You're wasting your time.
They're all cowards. I mean, when this airs, you know, it's like I'm sure I'm going to be live chatting, and I'm sure even right now there's people chatting in the chat while we're watching this, and you're being troll fucks. Stop it. No, I could, but then again, that's probably another lesson from Jamaica. Just taking all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you're figuring it out though. I could tell like that New York experience, you figuring it out.
Yeah.
You're building on your act, and then like what was Def Jam like? Was that how many years before that to Def Jam?
I think I got on Def Jam when Def Jam wasn't as popular as it was.
Oh,
there was something I did. There was this thing called
Who was the host
Uptown Comedy Club TV show. I did that first.
Oh,
because
I remember that.
Yeah, so I did that, and that was a hit set. That was a really good set. And then maybe took 2 more years after that to do Def Jam. Oh, I can't really remember.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You got to look up Def Jam Ian.
Stupid.
He had the dreads. He was high energy. I don't know what happened to you.
That's what you did in New York. Like you jumped on that audience and you let them know so that they wouldn't like smell any fear and come at you. It's the same type of style of jokes, like logic wise.
Yeah.
But yelled.
I can't.
Yeah. I might as well have had a machete in my hand when I was telling those jokes.
Who you talking about? Hear that one? So then, when did you come to LA? Because at that point, now you're established. People know you. You're in that community. You're in the comedy community. You're also in the black comedy community.
Yeah, I was doing it all.
Yeah, you was doing it all.
Figured it out. I was doing black clubs, white clubs, black colleges. And had a lot of bad tests, but figured it out. And then you can like, oh. But I'd still be nervous and shit. But then there's a point, say, hey man, you gonna enjoy this thing or not? You can't just have fun after you have a good set, Yeah. You gotta have fun before, during, and after.
Well, there's like a moment that when you're doing comedy that like when you feel like it starts to work, you're doing well, but then you start to go, well, wait a minute, like what am I gonna do with this?
Right.
Because it's like I'm still I'm still renting. I'm still you know what I mean. That's when you like when did it become a rat race for you? Like when did it become like I need to like get at this? Is that when you decided to move to LA or like what was the process?
Nah, like there was one moment when I had a girlfriend at the time, or she was my ex-girlfriend, but I was hanging out with her and her family a lot. It was just like a lot of fun and the friends in the neighborhood.
Right.
And this is earlier on. And then I'd had friends, a lot of black comics, and I'd like you go to a comedy show, and sometimes in comedy, you could be going to a lot of shows but not on them. And then one day it hit me, it's like I'm not on this flyer, I'm not on this flyer,
right?
I'm not on this flyer. This is back when they had flyers.
Yeah,
I'm not on any flyers. And it's like I'm not really a comic. I'm just hanging out.
Yeah,
but people have seen me do comedy, and then it's probably my fear of taking an L, Like I wanted to preserve the set that I did that was good there in that club like months ago.
Oh wow, yes, I know exactly what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
No risks, no chance, don't take any chances,
nothing. But then I'm like, not on this show, not on this show. So now like I had to make up my mind back then to be like, all right, I gotta go to some of these shows and do a guest spot. Ask for a guest spot, which they would give you free. All you gonna do is for free. Then I'd rip. and then they would book me, and then I just started doing that with all the shows. And like there was a moment there when I thought I was doing comedy, when I wasn't.
Right.
And then I think a lot of comics make that mistake. I know I did. I've seen other people do it, and I was like, all right, let me. So from that moment, then I was like, bang, 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 and then. They had this.
You traveling around the country.
Traveling around the country. Got with an agency.
Yeah. All that stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
So then, when did you go from, like, being like, not to say that you were just doing black shows or a black comic, but like, but after
back then I was doing, like, around this time I'm doing everything now.
I know, but like, but the public perception, because of like, you did these TV shows, but when did you transition over to like where you were doing like, where
right.
when were you accepted to the mainstream?
What is the public perception, by the way? Because sometimes I might not be aware of it. Sometimes if you give me a compliment, I'll ask you to break down a compliment, not because I want to hear it again. Well, I do, but I also want to understand what people are thinking of me.
Well, I'm just thinking at the time, that those shows were big. Like if you do if you do a black show, all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're a black comic,
right?
You know what I mean? If you like, it's like, look at someone like Gary Owen. I just had him on the podcast too. Like Gary is like, it's like he always
does black
was
shows.
into black shows, but
right.
I heard his story. His story is interesting of like how he grew up and the reason why he gravitated towards,
right.
it wasn't like he was trying to like,
that's just who he was.
It's just who he was.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why his wife's black. All the people that influenced him in his life were
right.
black. Those were the ones, and it was his white stepfather that was the dickhead. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
So he had an interesting story. So I'm saying like, but when you think of him. You think of him, oh, he's that white comic that does black rooms.
Right.
But that's not necessarily all that he does. So I'm saying back then, it's like you did Uptown, you did Def Jam. So it was like, oh, is he just a black comic? Like,
Well, I always wanted to be universal.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be universal and be able to do both. Because I've had the struggles figuring one out, figuring the other one out, and then going back and have to refigure the other one. So I said, I just want to have like one act that just works.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's interesting. So is that when you decided to like, you tone down the Jamaican, you tone down the energy? I didn't
even tone it down. I was like, you have to write this so both places get it.
Yes.
And then a part of you too, like just as a black person, you feel guilty if you can't kill a black room. I do, or I used to. So I was like, I just wanted black people to laugh as much as white people. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to, even though there's more audiences now, but like everybody else is like in the, like they're both ends of the spectrum. Everybody's in the middle. And if both ends of the spectrum get you, then
everybody will get you.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you want to do that. So I was just like thinking, all right, why is this funny? And then now, because of hip hop, you don't really have to, like so many white people into black culture.
Yeah,
you're not speaking another language sometimes when you do certain things.
I kind of like I always I think for like pop culture society, I always think MTV's TRL. Remember that show TRL?
Yeah.
When it was at its height, I think that show changed people's perception of all this because they had that top. They had that top 10 whatever videos, right? But it would be anything.
Right.
It was like whatever was popular. So it could be like, that's when you saw hip hop become pop culture.
Right.
Because it was like these hip hop songs along with like, Taylor Swift or, In Sync would be with like Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
And like, so that made everybody, then these young white kids are growing up like they just go, oh, this is just a great song.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing, it filtered over to comedy.
Yeah. And Yo MTV Raps and just all those like video shows. It just took a while for everything because I notice it now when I talk to younger like agents and managers in the industry. They all grew up with hip hop.
Yeah.
But the white people I came up with didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Shit. So when you so what do you think of comedy now? Like what are your feelings on the state of comedy right now?
On the state of comedy?
Yeah.
I just try. I know what the state of comedy is.
What is it to you?
Like the state of comedy is like, hey, they're into younger comics and they're into people who are older that have already made it, that are stars that they can bank on and get some money from if they can greenlight a show and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm in the middle
And it's just good to know, like, kind of, like, I'm known, but not known enough.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
It's like, now I know what the game is. How am I going to figure this out and play it? And it's like, you have to, I like that it's in my hands. You know what I mean? Like, back in the day, I had to wait for my agent to be like, or my manager to be like, all right, we're going to push you all the way through. And then sometimes you wait, and then they pick somebody else that started after you, or just somebody else for some other reason and push them through, and you just wait, you wait. But now it's in your hands because of the internet. And you can make yourself
doing stuff like this.
So I like to have a better fighting chance. So I accept it, and I'm coming doing your podcast. I'm gonna do a bunch of other people's podcasts and doing the most so that people can know that the special is available on Friday, July 12th at midnight on Comedy Central. Just hitting places, man, so that they could see it, and use my Instagram and my Twitter, Facebook.
And by the way, if this is after July 12th, when this comes out, if it's after, so make sure you go find Ian's special on Comedy Central, because you'll be able to. I'm sure you're going to be able to watch it on demand on Comedy Central, and you'll be able to watch it on the Comedy Central app. And the more people that watch
and the website,
so the more people that watch it and like it, especially on the website, that kind of stuff is key. So make sure you do that and share, and and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, especially if you like it, man.
Yeah. Don't just exactly. Make sure you like it. Yeah, I feel like comedy's weird. I mean, I feel like we're at because we're older right now. It's like we just have a different perspective. Like we're looking at the landscape of comedy, and it's just like I see how often it changes, and I just ride the wave.
You have to. Like, you can't be like when I was a kid, I hated the old guy that complained. And I never want to be the old guy that complain, because all you're going to do is complain, and the shit is going to keep going and going and pass you anyway.
Yeah.
So ride that shit, make friends with young people, let them show you which buttons to press on the goddamn phone.
How do I change my background?
Be nice to them. Yeah. And, they'll help you. Like, this old motherfucker's cool.
I know. I also, like, if I look at somebody and I feel like, well, they're not my cup of tea, my thought never is just like, oh, this person ain't funny. I just say that. They're just not my cup of tea. Right. But I look at it and I'm like, well, people seem to be enjoying this person.
Sometimes I say that it's not my cup of tea, but then I have to, like, I just need to get the anger out. And then once it's out,
and that's what you're friends for.
Yeah.
That's why we can go someplace and we can vent to each other and be like, that motherfucker sucks.
Yeah.
Then once we get past that, we're just like, all right.
Then you can look at it rational.
Yeah.
You gotta vent. You gotta trash them first.
Yeah, you will get trashed with Ian and I for sure. But because I've seen that so often. And also, you just never know when it's gonna happen. Yeah. You were talking about that middle. So you have the young people who they love to push forward even when they're not ready.
Right.
And then these established people. But it's everybody that's in the middle there. The thing about that, the fight and the microcosm of Hollywood is like the Comedy Store. There's all these people that think that like they're on the same level, or like here we are, and like when somebody goes just a little bit up, there's like like why am I not doing like like as if they deserve that.
Yeah, I think I probably always think I'm lower than I am.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I should be more cocky.
More cocky?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible.
I mean,
but then it's like, I don't know, man. I look back on it. I wouldn't wish this on anyone.
What?
When you talk to somebody and somebody's like, yo, man, I want to start doing comedy. I'm always like, get the fuck away from me. Like, go talk to me in 5 years. Let this beat you up a little while. Then come talk to me about how you want to get into comedy.
Right. I mean, it's great if you're young, or if you have a story, and you figure it out. And, I mean, like, listen, there's a lot of young. We were just talking about Gerard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
4 years, he got like a HBO special.
I know, but he's like, that guy was reading physics books.
But there's other people.
Yeah. It happens. There's no right or wrong way, right?
There's a lot of young people doing great.
Younger
comics. So I don't think it's that bad. It's just, I would just hate to have to pay $5 to get on stage. That's the, you know what I mean?
Those are the days, man. Yeah. There was places like that here. There was this like place way out in the valley. Like you could take the 101, like going towards Camarillo. They had this, it was called the Oh man, what was the name of this place? I forgot the name of the place, but it was like a, it was a little theater, and you had to pay $5 at the bar to perform. I mean, I just think back to that of like, damn, these places figured out the game. They were like, oh, these people, we gonna take advantage of these dreamers.
Yeah, exactly. Like some of these places, it's like the tough thing for anybody starting in entertainment, if you're broke, is whether you're an actor or whatever, people are always charging you to advance in your craft at the point when you have no money.
Yeah.
And then you feel desperate enough to fork up your money so you can get played a lot.
The worst is like when you're trying to be a model. Like they used to have those websites to be like, for $600, you're gonna get your portfolio. You're gonna be on our website, and just like think of this piece of shit that came up with that scam,
right?
And I don't know if there was things like that for comedy.
They were things where
it's just classes or whatever it is like that.
Classes, or they promise you'll meet some agents if you take the class.
Oh, right. There's like a showcase, and agents are gonna come
at the end of the course, and
come to find out they pay those agents.
Casting person will be there. They're there, but I don't know if they're really looking. And then,
yeah.
And then there would be the thing where some agency would be like, "We saw you and we like you, but you need headshots. So you have to go to this place and take headshots. It only costs this amount of money."
Right.
And the agency would be connected to the headshot place.
Yeah.
And
all a scam.
There's always different versions of those scams. Yeah.
When did you know that you felt like you were making it? When did you know like you were doing something and you were like, were you aware? Was there some self-awareness of like, oh, I'm a working comic, or I'm like one of those guys? Like when was it the TV appearances? Or?
Yesterday.
When you saw the 43 billboards?
Yeah. Drove around town so often.
Have you seen them all? Have you driven around to find all 43?
I've only seen one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they just told you there was 43?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, could have told me anything.
Ian, it's 43.
Yeah.
Shit.
Just picked a number. But when did I know that I don't even... Sometimes I don't even think I've made it.
Right.
To be honest.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I don't know if that sounds dumb or nothing, but I'll be like, because you see what, like, people I've looked up to, what their version of making it is. So I don't even feel close to that.
Dude, I know. This is exactly how I feel, too. So I feel like, and that's I'm talking about this on stage right now because it's like, this is indicative of being in LA. So when you're in a place where the spectrum of making it is so big, so you got like, in our field, it's like Chris Rock, Bill Burr, Chappelle. So even someone that's like, I've been on a TV series for 7 years. I've been on, you know what I mean? I was doing that stuff. That ain't, it's still like less than what I would even consider to be like making it. So then it's
it's funny though. Like I remember, like we went to Roscoe's, and like these hot girls was like, wanted your autograph. And I'm like, I'm not standing for this. Not hanging out. This motherfucker's gonna gloat. And I was like, oh shit, he made it.
I know, but it's
but I understand.
Yeah, but it's just like you just go like, for me, I never like I'm never one to like to like be like, hey, I'm that dude from Workaholic, because I know that it's gonna go away. I knew,
and you told me that too.
Yeah, I knew that in the middle of it, I was like, this is gonna go away one day, and I don't want to miss it.
Right.
Because a lot of people, we know people that like they miss it.
Yeah, I don't miss anything yet.
Yeah, exactly. So I just kind of like live.
I don't feel like I got it. Yeah.
But you're doing well, man. You know what I mean? People just because you're on both sides of the thing. You're in front of the camera and behind the camera.
Yeah, but I'm about to gamble everything on trying to get in front of the camera and doing specials and stuff. So
it's just content. I mean, what do you feel about all this? Like, what do you feel about? That's another part of my question about the state of comedy. What do you feel about like all of these specials and how much comedy is out there?
Well, that's why I did mine the way it is, because there's so many people have to have a reason besides liking you to take the time out to see your special. So I tried to do something to make it like be special before they saw it, and to make them want to see it. So, like I know what it is. It's
Ian talk.
Like I know what it is. I see the landscape. There's a ton of specials. What am I going to do to make people want to see my special, but still make it like me and not me trying to pretend to be somebody else.
That's the hard thing, man. Or even a not even somebody else, but even a version of yourself, right? Or just some weird version of yourself. And I think that like my first special, Ugly Truth on Showtime, I feel like that was more like me. That was like material that I was doing forever, but I just did a special.
I love that material.
I just did a special. I'm just on stage doing a thing. Then the second one, I think I did the second one because it was like I'm on Showtime. I was on a show. It was like they said I could do another one, and so I had to like prep and get it out there. But like but then I started to think like they're not special anymore. That's a terrible word to use. It's just content. Like that's my long YouTube video.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just putting content out, and so like this is your first special, right?
Yeah, I did an album produced by Conan before, but
that's a great album too. That's a great album. What's the name of that album?
100% Half-Assed.
100% Half-Assed. You can still listen to that. But so this is your first special, you know. So but I mean, it's weird though, like because if I'd say you're doing your first special, say 15 years ago, it would be a whole different vibe,
right?
Isn't that?
I mean, I don't know. I never got one, so. I don't know. When you say a whole different vibe, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, like the fanfare about like and what would be.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. You'd have a chance for sure because of the limited amount of specials.
Right.
If you did a really good one to get to the next level.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever that next level.
I think you'd
means.
have a better chance. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird to see like why people pop or who pops, Because I always think about like it's like someone like Ali Wong, for instance, Ali's been funny forever. She's just a funny chick, and she was writing and she was just she was in there, know. And then she got this opportunity. She did that special. It just coalesced in a way that like skyrocket. It's just weird how it happens like that for some and then not for others.
Right.
I don't know. Like, do you think that there's a special out there that you've seen? Do you watch specials first?
Yeah, I watch the ones that I can. I don't watch as many as I should, and there's different reasons why I watch some and reasons why I don't watch others.
But do you think that there's a special out there that you've seen that you go, damn, I wonder why this person didn't blow up from this?
Yeah, that's the scary part.
Yeah,
that's like when you see a good special.
Yeah.
And the person, you ask them, so how's everything going on the road now? It's the same.
It's the same.
And you're like, oh, shit.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
That's the scary part. Like you could do a really good special and it not make a dent. But I understand this is the long game. I understand that after this special, I have to drop another special.
Yeah,
and
just
another
keep going,
one.
yeah.
And then it's the culmination of specials when people like, it just a Rolling Stone gathers moss.
Yes.
Or is it no moss? It's moss.
Well, see, I kind of feel like I felt the same way about like, I thought doing TV would do the same thing. But it's like, no, it's like, I'm on this show and it's just like, okay, people are like, man, but people must be coming out. I was like, not really. I mean, it's like, people don't, the weird part for me was like, people didn't even know I was a stand-up.
Right.
They just like.
And you were playing a stand-up.
No, I'm not even talking about that show. I'm talking about even on Workaholics.
Right,
people were like, but these are college kids that got no money. They don't know how to go out. They're not savvy like that. Let's go out for a night out, where it's going to cost you $85 because of drinks and the tickets and all that, So I didn't have an audience like that. Right. I didn't, And so then it's like now, you do a podcast that just does more for, selling tickets than, so it's, I don't know what it is. Maybe like you said, it's a culmination of things. So it's now it's going to be like, oh, that's the guy from Workaholics and I'm dying up here. And he had that special. I said, he got this podcast. Oh, he's got, whatever.
All the connections have to be made.
Yeah.
And all synapses firing and boom.
Well, I think your special is going to be great. I love the trailer. Thanks. I haven't seen it yet. So I'm gonna watch it, just so, I hope it does. I hope it is one of those things where people are like, who's that guy?
Right.
People going to act like you just started doing comedy.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because it's like if you're not a big comic, people don't know you anyway. That's why I don't feel like I made it. Like here are several instances where you haven't made it. Like one of them is where like a friend will introduce me to a friend of theirs, and they ask you what you do, and you say I'm a comic. Oh yeah, have you been on TV yet? And it's like me and you just spent the first half of this talking about my TV credits.
Yeah.
So Now I guess you see me sometimes and blah blah. And then, then you haven't made it because people, you just told somebody your name and they have no inkling
Dude,
of who you are.
Here's one for you. This is quick. I'm not gonna, because I talked about this on with Gary when he was on. But like, I was out in Oxnard at the. I just was out in Oxnard because my parents lived there, and I went over to the club. It was it's next door actually. You know, and Sean Williams was there. So I walked to the green room to knock on the door. 2 security guards. Like, hey man,
oh shit,
what you doing here? You know, they were like gonna like, attack me and be like, get back. And I said to the dude, I was like, I'm not trying to be like, you should know who I am, guy.
Right.
But like, really? Like,
damn.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, nothing connects. You know, and I know I'm gonna end up. I think I'm scheduled to headline that club.
Yeah.
And believe me, I'm gonna be talking about this on stage with
It's hilarious.
So it's like, that's what I mean. So that's the moment where I was like, oh, I haven't made it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I have one similar to that in Times Square. They have barkers for this comedy club called Laugh. And they have a clipboard with pictures of comics, and they try to get tourists to come to the club. And when I'm walking by those barkers, they hit me up like I'm a tourist and be like, hey, got a great comedy show, great comics, and you should come in and have a great time. They didn't recognize that I was a comic.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I got to work hard.
That happens to me too. The guy's like, you know, hey, you want to come to the show? I said, I'm looking at this guy. And because what pisses me off is like, that person's a comic.
Yeah. And they don't even
like,
know.
you're a comic, and you're looking at me, and so you don't. I go, damn.
Like the security guards,
I haven't made it at all.
They work in the comedy.
They work in the comedy club. They're there all the time,
and they didn't recognize that you were a comic.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is like. So you know, you did you always have these moments, but those are the things that keep you humble. You know what I mean? I think that's the kind of thing that
angry.
well, there's a fine line between humbleness and angriness, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just a weird business. But you also Ian also has a soccer podcast. You know, let's get those viewership.
Well, that's not helping me get famous either. I mean, talk about a niche.
Have you been watching the Women's World Cup?
Yeah, I just watched the finals this morning. I landed from Vegas. The U.S. beat Netherlands.
Oh wow,
2-1.
It's good to know that It's good to know that something in the United States is dominating in that sport. Because I fucking hate that. We're not great at soccer.
Why?
Because we have 300+ million people. Just by sheer numbers, we should have the better soccer players. We should have the better athletes. Our basketball players are better. Our football players are better. You know,
that doesn't mean that. Listen, this is why you just asked me who won, right? U.S. won. You didn't even know.
I didn't know. I wasn't paying attention.
But that's the thing, like. This is how I know soccer's not big. And I said this on my Instagram today. Like, I'm standing outside the bar where we watched the game, was packed in there. People are cheering. But I knew as soon as they gave him the trophy and everybody walked out the bar, they were going to go about this day as if it was a normal day.
Yeah.
If some other country won a World Cup, nigga, it's no working for 2 weeks. You're driving down the street in traffic, people are partying right now. Like, I got here easily. Like, there's no one honking their horn. There's no flag out the window. Yeah,
nobody's doing it.
There's no flares going off. Nah. Like July 4th, like there's fireworks all day. Right?
You just don't think soccer's gonna ever really blow up in the States?
We're not gonna win until it's like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Till it's like that. Yeah, somebody brought a drum set to the bar and they boom, 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 boom. But as soon as they won, it wasn't
the karaoke contest started.
Yeah. Like, it's in other places, people are like, and they're making babies right now. You know what I'm saying? They're so overcome with emotion that it takes a week or two for it to drain out of them, the euphoria from winning. And then, so we have to get that. Are you that crazy?
Are you upset about that? Where America's not that crazy about soccer?
No.
I think the part of the problem is when the soccer season is for young people.
Right.
That's what I think. And the main thing is, like, soccer in the States happens at the same time as baseball, track, and basketball.
Well, soccer's going on right now.
No. I'm talking about in high school.
Right.
The high school seasons in the United States when those sports happen, they coincide with each other,
Right.
you know? So then they're the last one. They're not getting necessarily the best athletes at these schools, especially in the rural areas. You know, people want to play, like, you know, the white kids are still trying to play baseball and, like, you know, and I even think, I'm not sure when the hockey season is, but that to me is the problem with soccer. They need to move it.
Well, there is a league now, MLS.
Mm-hmm.
LA has one of the best teams.
Two
And
of the
that's
best teams, right?
Yeah, I guess two. But, you know, I'm a LAFC lover, you know. And a part of what you, like when we were in high school, if you played soccer, you'd be like, this is over after high school or maybe college, but there's no future in it.
Right.
So then, but now there's a league, there's somewhere for you to go if you want to take it further. So I think that killed it's like having an erection, but no girlfriend.
No place to put it.
No place to put it. You're like, why even have an erection?
I know your hands are tied.
Yeah. You know, but now you're like, you see, all right, if I have an erection, I can put it somewhere. You're like, you'll have your erection.
But I still think that the appeal of basketball, baseball, and track and field
It's more glamorous. There's
is
more money.
more glamorous to even if it's not even about what you're gonna do after.
Right.
It's still in high school. Soccer's not it doesn't.
But that's not bad. We'll just get the people who really want to play soccer.
But they're not the better athletes. Is the problem?
Yeah, at some point, like, listen, the whole country has to grow as a soccer nation, not just the players.
Yeah.
For us to win the World Cup.
I got you about that.
Everybody's thinking it's a team-based thing. No, it's a whole
Right. It's a country
evolution that has to take place as a country that will nurture the players, the right atmosphere, the right temperature, everything. Every piece of seasoning is right, and then boom, you know, you taste like, this is delicious, and you party.
Well, if you look at baseball, like baseball is suffering getting the black athlete and I believe that is partly the fault of Major League Baseball. I think they should have put more money into urban communities, rural communities, you know, like underprivileged community, so they could play baseball, because these are going to be the baseball players that are going to be 20 years later. I mean, if you look at the sport now, I mean, there are not that many black baseball players, and I think that's because of that, you know, because that's, you know, baseball is a lot.
It's also boring.
You need 18 people. You need, you know, you got to have equipment. You have to have, like, you know, if the local park is a piece of shit, like, what are you going to do? You know, people just gravitate towards playing basketball, towards, you know, these other sports. So I think that what you're saying is true when you talk about a nation. If people really want to play soccer, then we got to start making it a priority. We got to start, like, providing places for kids to play soccer.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Especially like the upper echelon type kids that are going to be the athletes of tomorrow.
Yeah, as an adult in California, whenever I wanted to play soccer, I had a crew of dudes we used to play with, but whenever we went on some field, they would just kick us off.
Yeah.
And it's like,
because you have to take up so much of the field for this fucking sport.
Or even if we didn't take up a lot, they're like, this is not for soccer. And we get shunned so many places.
This is what I'm talking about.
There's nothing. Like, so some kid walking by couldn't see us playing and be inspired because we couldn't even play.
Yeah, you couldn't even play.
Yeah.
You know? So that's that, but that's like indicative of, like, you know, that's a trickle down of like, or a trickle up really of like, this is why we're not doing this.
Right. But there's basketball courts everywhere. Anybody can play.
Yeah. All you need is two people. You don't even need two people. You could be out there shooting on your own.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's why. But I do think that's the thing with that. So maybe you played soccer in Jamaica? Was that the thing?
England, Jamaica, and New York, and in California. I played with these guys. Some of them were like French, English, and they were all worked behind the scenes in entertainment. Like, some of them were cameramen. I played with a DP that did Black Panther, not Black Panther, like Pink Panther.
Right.
Like, I played with some people. One guy, he created slam dance.
Right.
Like, his name is Peter. I forgot Peter's last. I follow him on Instagram. Like slam dance has produced like a lot of great movies and documentaries, and I don't know how I met these guys. Somebody told me they played soccer at this job that I worked, and he said, meet them there. And I met them, and for years I just played with these guys after that. It was like the best time of my life.
Yeah, I stopped playing basketball when, one, I got like fat, but really it was like
you shouldn't have stopped.
I know, but what really happened was when I was like 26, I was out at the dunk courts, we called them, you know, because they had the rims lower, you know what I mean? So like, so the grammar schools and stuff like that, the rims would be like, when I was a kid, I used to think, why would you want to play it? But now I got it. Because, you know, we was like, you know, we thought we was like Michael Jordan and shit out there dunking on everybody, but I got this guy kicked me because I used to talk shit. I was like Shaq out there. I used to have hops, man. And then like, and then I tore my ACL and I was down and out for like a year because I didn't have insurance. So I had to get on my mom's insurance so I can get the surgery. So it was like a 2-3 year period where I just wasn't active anymore. But, you know, from 26 to like, you know, whatever. And then, you know, had my girlfriend and I just like, you know, just got lazy. I had to work. It was like I just got fat. And then it was like as you get older, it's harder to get that shit off. You know, so then I'm still trying to play basketball. But when you're older, when you're in your 30s, trying to play basketball and you not normally active, man, the stretching is like you're supposed to stretch. I popped I think I had a Kevin Durant injury. You know what I mean? My fucking calf. I turned around like, did somebody kick me? Because it just something happened. So then it just was like, oh, this is too much. It's too dangerous for me to be out here playing.
I
You know what
thought
I mean?
that too. Like that's why I stopped playing soccer. I was like, I got this one injury and nothing happened. There was no collision. Nothing, and it was
just for no reason.
Injury.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, I can't do this.
I can't
anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was out playing at the courts with my buddies, and my friend like, it was like a just dangerous backboard. Okay, it was just metal. Yeah, it was dangerous because it was too low. He went up and he hit his side of his face on the backboard like this, right? And everybody was like, "Oh shit!" He fell down. Then he got up and he was like, "Oh man," you know, and everybody was like panicking. You know, everybody was like, they were just like, whoa, it would look bad. So he goes, hey, Eric, you know, can you look? So his nose, like his nose was coming off his face. Okay. Like, but he didn't feel it yet. So I went like, I had to go like this. I was like, you know,
I got to go.
No, I said, you know what? Just to be cautious, we should probably go to the emergency room. Let's get him to the emergency room. Just to, you know what I mean? I was trying not to, because I wanted to be like, your fucking nose is coming off your face. You know what I mean?
Damn.
But like, I knew not to panic this dude. And we had to climb a fence and shit like that.
Yeah, we had to climb fences.
And that was another thing too, where I was like, I'm 37, whatever it was. I'm not climbing a fence to go play basketball. And I don't want to pay and be in some under 40 league or whatever, those type of shits, you know? But like, that was one of the last times too, I was like, I think I'm good.
Did he stop? When did he start feeling the pain?
Well, they took him because I didn't go with them to the hospital. But he told me later, he said, the doctor said if he didn't come in when they did, it would have been more serious where they would have had to like the type of surgery and he could have lost part of his nose, stuff like that. So I was just like, oh shit, you know, I was like, that could happen at any time. Anytime you get like a little, like I sprained my ankle now and I'm like, God, I'm down and out. Then you start to notice it because you walking on stage and you know what I mean? So I was like, I'm too old to be doing this shit. But Ian, we've been talking for a fucking shit ton of time. So this is my guy, Ian Edwards. Let's go over it again. Ian Billboard Edwards. If you've been wondering who the fuck that is on these billboards around town, because I know that's your question. Who the fuck is that?
I mean, it might be. You don't have to put it like that, though. I mean, it says my name on it. You just read it a little bit. Yeah, just read it a little bit. You know?
But they can't get
Billboard percents.
They can't get to the name
talk.
because they like, you know. But anyway, no, I'm just teasing. It's great. So he's got his special coming out, Ian Talk. It's coming on Comedy Central July 12th. I'm not sure when this is going to air. So what's the date right now?
7th, July
7th. Oh, it's for sure going to be, this is going to be after. I'll figure out. Maybe I'll do a special. Maybe this was a special midweek episode of Riffin with Griffin. Maybe I'll do that. So if I did that, then great. If I didn't do that, make sure you go try to find Ian's special. But this is my guy, Ian Edwards. All his information is going to be on the underneath on the description. And, you know, thanks for coming on.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, man.
It's my man, like
homie.
For real, one of my best friends in the whole wide world. Thanks for watching Riffin with Griffin. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the like. And once again, make sure you follow Ian. All his links are going to be right down there. So make sure you watch that. And catch you guys next week.